Well then folks, back at it again. Got this sexy little forged recirc valve for KermitVXR from Wayside. Nice little vanilla air freshener as well. It's nice. So because Kermit, who is hiding over there, is running 238 brake horsepower, so not standard, we are going to swap the green spring from inside of this, which is a softer spring, for the yellow, which is in there. So I've just had the pliers on this to get it loosened off. So you're just going to screw that off, switch them over. Easy. Literally is as simple as that. Get rid of the green, put in the yellow. There we go. Stick the lid back on. Look at that. So that escalated quickly and I ended up removing a load of crap. So I'm going to take you through this in reverse in the process that I've done things, because a lot of people tell you to make a modified Allen wrench, a number 5 Allen wrench, basically shaving the end of it so it will fit in this port here for the Allen bolt, between the Allen bolt and the inlet pipe, which sits here, and that is a very tight gap, as you can see, which is why I've just taken this off. A little bit finicky to take it off, but not as finicky as doing that. The reason behind that is all 3 Allen bolts are tight as hell, because the standard recirculation valve, the cap comes away with the spring, so it's giving constant pressure backwards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through putting this all back together, and basically you just reverse the process to take it off. Okay, but yeah, that was a nightmare. So here we go. Now again, just before we get into it, the forged recirc valve, I've obviously swapped that spring out for the yellow one because I'm running more power, but it also has some rubber O-rings that sit there in that groove and there in that groove. Please put them in, do not forget to put them in. That will seal it up against the inlet, okay? So please do that. Right then, now as we're coming to put this back in, you'll notice on your recirc valve that you've got an inlet here which opens as the pressure builds up there. Okay, now I don't know whether I'll get the camera in here, but inside of this port on the turbo facing side, you can just start to see it there. If you put your finger in, you can feel the hole going through the inlet side here. That needs to sit facing down there. Okay, right, that's that bad boy back in, or rather that bad boy in, and hopefully you can see the bolts there. Got 3. There is one nugget there, one there, one there. Now you don't need to go Herculean with these, but give them a couple of good ugga-duggas, make sure everything's tight, because the last thing you want is an air leak. Kind of defies the point of it being a recirc valve, really. Now you need a number 5 Allen key or a number 5 Allen key bit, a converter and a ratchet, and that makes your life easier. Makes your life a hell of a lot easier. Now let's have a look at how all this goes back together, shall we? Goes in there like that. Now you've got a bolt down in that corner, that one. Now that's an absolute nightmare to get it on and off, so I'm going to show you my little path of least resistance to get that, and the tools you'll need. The one on this side sits just underneath the recirc valve, which you can see there. So we're going to put that one in first, and then I'll show you how we get to that back one. But for the back one, what you're going to need is an 8mm socket if you don't have any of these fancy pants things. So I just use an 8mm socket on top of that, and I use a knuckle joint for the rear fixing and an extension bar and a small ratchet, and that just gives you the gumption to get in, you know, the leverage. So I'll lob this front one on and then I'll show you. Okay, front bolt is in, so path of least resistance for this. If you follow us around here, we can come down, and if I zoom in, maybe, there we go, zoom in, I can't see nothing. So we are taking our ratchet underneath our coolant pipe beside the water pump there, and you're coming on an angle back here. There's a small gap you can get through. I am losing daylight quickly. There's a small gap you can get to. Oh, there you can see it popping out. There we go, wiggly, hello. And essentially your bolt sits there. You can see the gap for it there where I'm putting the socket. So it is a bit of a bugger, but when you're not holding the camera you can get your hand down this side and line everything up, which is what I'm about to do, but with the nut, or bolt rather, in the end of this, which will be fun. I'm probably going to drop that 1,000 times, so I'll get back to you once that's done. Oh, no, not done that quick. After fighting it for a little while, Martin used his big brain and put a bit of blue tack on the end of the bolt, which is now going to hold that in the socket so I can feed it through and into the hole, hopefully. Right, now that that pucker's back on, which by the way was a nightmare, just used an extension thing rather than the knuckle joint. We're going to put our ReCirculation vacuumy cabley thing back on, which you can't see. There it is, that one there, and you'll see a couple of clips on there. Basically, I'll show you on a pipe that's off. These things just have 2 notches on them there, and you just get your pliers on there and squeeze and then move it about freely like that. So once you've taken that off, you squeeze them together, push it off, and then push the pipe off. If you're putting it back on, get the pipe on and then squeeze them together, put the clip over. The ReCirculation one's got 2. It's got the silver one, which sits snug against the end, and it's got that black one there that just sits on the tube. So I'll get that on. Right, that's back on. Don't forget clips on the back of there as well, if I can get a pointing device, that bit there. Whatever. Anyway, you'll figure it out. Next thing, this massive pipe there. Now the bolt goes in there, this one, and it fastens on, if I can focus, fastens on to that notch there, which you can see the shape in that, matches that. So it goes on there, so let's get that done. Okay, that's all plumbed back in. Pipes laid. I also need to reconnect a pipe down there that I disconnected. I need to get my skates on because it's raining and I don't want water in the inlet. So essentially, inlet pipe on there, you've obviously got a nut there that you can tighten it up with. You can use a flathead screwdriver or a pair of pliers, usually gets it, or the right size spanner. I'm sure you'll figure that one out. I didn't bother taking it off this side of my air filter, I just took it off my heat shield because I've got a gap in, but you might have to take that one off as well. Just pop it off your air filter. And that is pretty much it. The last thing we need to do is... Aha! I found it. You really can't see this, so I'll try and lighten it up in post for you. There you go. So that's a press down fit, so that silver bar presses down and that allows that to plug and unplug. Okay, and that goes on that set of pipes that we've just attached, that block that goes onto the inlet pipe. the wire goes on the bottom. Job's a good one. Well, it's dark and wet, but it's back together. Look at that. Look at that. Right, let's give it a run out, see if it works. Well folks, it's done, it's finished, everything works. It's great, nice and responsive. Recommend doing it even if you've got a standard recirc valve on a standard motor. It's excellent. So when it's cold you get quite a lot of flutter, I've noticed, but once it warms up it's really sharp. Don't tend to get any flutter anymore, so that's good. I'm just happy it works really. And I'm happy it's made a difference, it's nice and responsive. So like, subscribe, all that jazz. The channel is going to be sort of fluctuating between car stuff, EDC, casting, guitar stuff, just general workshop life. So there's going to be a bit of everything. So, you know, subscribe if you want to see a range of stuff. If you just want to watch the car videos, just watch the car videos. I don't really mind either way. It all helps, it all helps. But like if you like the video, if it's useful for you. Cheers, I'll see you next time.